Hi friends, the new legend for season 12 is official, and her name is Margaret Kahiri, also known as Mad Maggie, and this is her backstory. Maggie grew up on the streets of Salvo with her friend Walter Fitzroy. You know him as Fuse. Salvo was a brutal planet ruled by a rotating collection of misfit warlords bent on mayhem, murder, and good times. Fuse and Maggie saw a lot as youngsters, and this influenced much of their mentality. They would often have to fight their way to survive, and would often come across the miscreants of war, even one day finding a golden grenade. Maggie would grow up to become a mercenary with her friend Fuse, striking deals in an attempt to grow their power, working their way up from the bottom. Maggie's goal was always to become a powerful warlord. She always believed in the freedom that Salvo represented. This mentality, however, separated her from her best friend Fuse. Fuse was more about the call of the arena rather than becoming a warlord. Maggie grew more and more resentful of this as Fuse rose to fame and victory through the bone cage fighting arena, which was essentially a less fancy version of the Apex games. One day, Salvo would strike a deal with the Syndicate to become part of the Syndicate planets in the Outlands. Of course, Maggie was not happy with this. She despised everything about the Syndicate. To her, Salvo was a free, independent planet. When she heard Fuse was leaving Salvo to join the Apex games, this was the last straw for Maggie, and she couldn't let him leave without a fight. Knowing she couldn't really beat Fuse in the 1v1, given he was the bone cage fighting champion, she decided to throw the golden grenade towards him, the same one they found when they were young. It ends up blowing Fuse's arm off, and their friendship disappears along with Fuse, although Maggie does keep Fuse's blown off arm, in a somewhat cynical and slightly creepy kind of way. Maggie wouldn't let her vendetta against Fuse and the Syndicate end there though. At the ceremony to mark the Syndicate and Salvo joining forces, as well as Fuse joining the game, Maggie manages to sabotage it. She ends up blowing up part of King's Canyon and destroying the ceremony ship. She even almost kills a friendly Marvin unit. Fortunately, Fuse was able to save him though. Maggie by this point really was becoming Mad Maggie. She leads riots and destruction against the Syndicate in an attempt to free Salvo from its deal with the Syndicate planets. We start to see Maggie maybe has a little bit more about her than just being crazy. You see, there's a lot about freedom here and protecting the Salvonian people. Maggie then goes on to hack the Apex games and take over as the announcer, causing troubles within the games for the legends such as Ring Fury, and this does cause a little bit of damage to the arena as well as hurting many legends. During season 8, Fuse along with Lifeline and Bloodhound would go on to hunt down Maggie. She tries to convince Fuse to join forces with her again, although Fuse declines. You see, her cause is to free Salvo from association with the Syndicate, and she knows she needs as much help as she can get. However, after the events of the war games and Maggie taking over, the legends decide she needs to be stopped. After fighting with Fuse one last time, Maggie appears to fall from a building, many thinking falling to her death. However, this was not the case. She would instead be captured by the Syndicate and brought to trial in front of Syndicate supporters, the Magistrate, and an interested Eduardo Silva. She was charged with 27 counts of sedation, including 18 counts of inciting riots against the Syndicate Alliance of Free Worlds, 9 counts of raiding Syndicate transport ships, and masterminding the attack on the Salvo Syndicate ceremony. Of course, Maggie doesn't take these charges lightly. After breaking her tooth and spitting it into the eye of the Magistrate, seeing over her sentence, her fate would be to face a firing squad. But just before the Magistrate could order the execution, he was stopped by Eduardo Silva. Yes, Silva is his surname. He's head of Silva Pharmaceuticals and father to Octane. He indicates he wants Mad Maggie to head to the Apex games instead as her punishment. This sees Maggie join the games with a vendetta against the Syndicate, but let's not forget, she hasn't won any favour with the legends either. Pretty much every time she's come into contact with the legends, she's been trying to kill them. It also seems Eduardo Silva has a plan for Maggie, perhaps to use her for his own gains. Anyway, that brings you up to speed on Mad Maggie's whole backstory. I'm sure there's lots more to come, but hopefully this gives you a good snippet of where Mad Maggie comes from. Keep a lookout for all my season 12 content coming your way. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.